All right, looks like we are live. Matash, handing it off to you.
All right. Well, welcome everybody here in the collective. And as it is on every Friday, we had our networking event earlier today, and Shakti and I would go live to just talk on any topic that feels relevant. And today, Shakti is looking to speak on three
Three,
keys.
three steps to claim financial abundance. And this is especially geared for soul-led entrepreneurs, spiritual entrepreneurs who want to serve the world using their feminine innate gifts.
Absolutely. And, entrepreneurs, I find, just as you brought it up, soul-led entrepreneurs. So what is the difference between a soul-led entrepreneur and an entrepreneur? Before we even get into the three steps, why is it important to distinguish that? What's the difference there?
There could totally be a very theoretical, standardized difference out there in the world if you Google it up. But the way I see it is anybody can be entrepreneur. And there are different motivations people have to step into the world of entrepreneurship. Somebody opening a restaurant um, or a franchise is a very valid path of entrepreneurship, right? Um, how I like to distinguish soul-led entrepreneur is this person felt a deep calling to create a change in the world. And they're not necessarily concerned about, feeding the world, most delicious French fries. They are really bringing forward a message, a mission, some sort of calling that includes their teachings in the world. And there is inside them picking up a whole revolution to create a change on the planet. Soul-led entrepreneurs typically go through a very special and unique journey. And a lot of us have experienced a level of pain in our life. And I'm so glad we're talking about this because we don't talk about this as much and as often we should. We have experienced pain, and that pain has taught us something so valuable that we see the need in the world for more and more people to learn about it. And we have figured out a process, a solution that allows us to move from that pain to that learning, from that pain to that empowerment, from that pain into a very, very valuable teaching that is transformational. And we are on the path of sharing our internal process that life prepared us for with the world.
That is quite revolutionary in a way where, it's not about just solving problems, which is nothing wrong with that, but it's more about lessening or easing some of the pain that exists in this world. And that's really, when you're saying soul-led entrepreneurs, I feel like that is the driving point that you were sharing is, it comes from a deeper pain of something that you've overcome yourself, or you've been able to transcend, and now you want to make sure that the rest of the world doesn't have to go through what you did. Am I getting that correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is a whole new level of initiation that life prepares you for. No amount of credentials and certifications give us the right to bring these transformative body of work in the world. Life has prepared us, through an initiation of pain, experiencing pain, and using the pain to really really like find these nuggets, these golden nuggets of learnings and teachings that are quite liberating for ourselves and for people out there. I also want to talk to you about a little bit of this kind of personality difference between a soul-led entrepreneur and an entrepreneur. It's nuanced, and I know this is because I am one, and I have studied a lot of people, students, clients. Soul-led entrepreneurs are generally empaths, people who are sensitive to energy, people who have taken birth in families where the families aren't that sensitive. We grew up feeling black sheeps or misfits who didn't really always fit into the family system or society system. We've just always been extra sensitive, and it really feels like life has really prepared us. And these agreements kind of go even beyond incarnating in this life. These agreements go beyond time. I mean, it really feels like a lot of us really came in with this deeper commitment to bringing a change on the planet, and we surrounded ourselves with all kinds of circumstances and setups where we felt that we didn't belong. And there's a lot of that pain. There's a lot of pain that we attracted in our life in different setups and ways and relationship dynamics. And really, that is the setup we created to really be in the space of, you can call it pressure cooker, you can call it initiation, where we got to really meet ourselves, and we got to listen to our heart. We got to really listen to this deep voice inside us that said, it's okay to be different. It's okay to choose a path that you're called to walk on. It's okay to own yourself in the world, doing what you want to do. And I am just so incredibly proud that we have a community here where we, whether the world understands us or not, but we get each other. And that's the glimpse we got to see in this morning's networking sessions, where it's like, it just had this feeling of, I have arrived within my tribe. They're like-minded people here. I am not alone in this journey called entrepreneurship, or a life. People get me. And our brains are just wired differently. Our body just functions differently than rest of the world because of how sensitive we are. So everything that I do personally, Mitesh, I try to do it in a way that really honors the sensitivity of soul-led entrepreneurs out there. Not every formula out there that works for us, that really honors us. And people like us really don't need to be told what we need to do, because other people may not understand how sensitive we are and how internally guided we are in living our life with that integrity of that internal guidance. All we need is someone holding space for us, someone allowing us the safety to go deeper inwards, find our answers, connect to our intuition, and to really go forward from there. And that is like one thing in my work that I want always try my best to honor, is to hold a supportive, safe space where we can come together, connect within ourselves and move forward from there.
A lot that you shared over there in this time, and really, making this really good distinction between what drives a soul-led entrepreneur versus, starting a business where it's for other reasons or for other motivations or whatever that might be. And just want to highlight you, Shakti Sharma. Today, she is the co-founder of Spiritual Alignment. She's been a professional in the business world, got some really solid credentials, but all of that comes down when she recognized that it was her intuitive gifts, her ability to channel, her ability to use her empathic gifts to work with these soul-led entrepreneurs and folks who are working through their own internal struggles. And I always like to say that you are the person that brings the without form into the world. and and that is who Shakti Sharma is. And so today she is going to share this idea of, you know, 3 steps to stepping into abundance, which is really the unseen, and you bring it into the scene for people. And so so would love to hear from you in terms of what are those steps that if somebody's watching right now, what are the things that they would need to know about this?
Right. Before I dive into the steps, I want to say one thing. I started my journey as a healer. That's all I knew. I've been empath all my life. I've been quite intuitive in my way, and I just went the opposite direction, shut down all my gifts, all my abilities, and pretended
How old were
like
you when you feel like you shut it down?
um, I feel like somewhere kind of after high school is when I really shut it down. And I went through like a really downward spiral in my middle school. Um, so there's like some kind of thing played out there. But I was saying something. Yeah, so when I first sat into in a meditation class, in a healing session, I really felt like finally everything I felt in my life has an answer now. Finally, I have a path. I have this like such a profound feeling, internal feeling, and I feel like I will always be a healer. And what's starting to happen, like I've started this work a decade ago, and I have worked with clients in all kinds of situation scenarios, even really crippling traumas. And I discovered I had complex trauma. So I ended up working with clients in a lot of those situations where they were like, okay, there's nothing happening, give up, shut down. And then to bring that aliveness back in that body has been quite a process. But from there, what's starting to happen, and I think it's so important to talk about it, I feel like I will always be a healer, someone who holds space for clients to return back to wholeness. That's really my jam. But what's starting to happen is that my medicine is getting so strong and so potent that areas and corners that were so dark and I was afraid to go, I'm finally getting full on, heck yeah, I need to go to these dark corners and bring more light in it. So, it's not that my niche has changed or else I have stopped being a healer. It's just that the work is expanding more, and I'm realizing how much of hustle, and effort and trauma the path of entrepreneurship holds, especially for people like us. It's just not easy. It's not easy balancing all the internal gifts, all the wisdom we have with, with thriving financially, with thriving strategically, with really getting the clients we want. So I just want to
Oh, I think we froze up there just for a moment. We're back. Internet,
okay.
we're back the world, we're back the collective. So just
Okay. I was saying this is why I am here taking a stand for our community, that we can have financial abundance. We can have a thriving business. We can have a line of clients who are really genuinely excited to work with us. We can have this. And if there's anything that this conversation could serve you today, is my invitation is to see if that permission slip is available to you. This internal belief, yes, you can. Yes, you can. And that is really why I'm showing up live today with Nitesh.
Hmm.
So
Is that a prerequisite? It almost feels like that belief that I can do this is really one of the first steps to stepping into abundance. Is that what I'm understanding?
absolutely. So the step number one is acceptance. Acceptance of this thing called money and financial abundance and wealth. And the reason I very humbly share about acceptance is because coming from different spiritual modalities, spirituality existed in a very separated, divided way in the world before. And spirituality was really a path of renunciation. You renounce everything, all your body's needs, whether it's, you know, food, with fasting and everything, intimacy, money, you renounce all of that and you ask people basically to give you, to feed you. And, that really was the setup for spirituality. And now many of us have inherited the same beliefs. And spirituality in our world is still evolving to a place where in this modern times we can have both the spiritual wisdom, the spiritual abundance, and the material abundance. And this is really the bigger part of the ascension process taking place for the planet. Everything was divided back in the day. Men are different, women are different, spirituality is different, materialism is different, spirit is different, body is different, right? And where we are moving now is in this field of oneness, where there is no separation between the material and spiritual. And I know we are all doing a lot of inner work right now, whether we realize it or not, to step into that oneness. But it's so important to accept money as such an important tool for your growth, for your prosperity. Money is such a sacred body level need. Money is so important in giving you the right support, the right resources, so that you can have the freedom to do the things that you want to do. It really is a tool for freedom. And if you are spiritual, if you are soul led, you know what that freedom means, right? That freedom is everything. That is really the basis of at which you created your business. And money is really an enabler to allow us to have and enjoy more freedom in life. So
Mm.
reason I am having this very rudimentary discussion with you, the reason why acceptance is the step number one, because I will be very honestly, I'll be very honest with you, Mitesh. I see this all the time, where people want, like especially in our community, people want money mentally, but subconsciously there's a denial of that money goes on. The beliefs that we have inherited from many generations ago in the spiritual traditions, there's always this conflict I see sitting in the subconscious mind. And unless we can accept that, yes, I want money, and what happens in that dynamic is that people, it's like, okay, yeah, I sort of want money, and then they're like, but they're not able to get money because of all the thought patterns and the denial and resistance to money that sits in their subconscious mind. And that creates a dynamic, internal conflict. And when there's an energy of internal conflict, the universe cannot deliver you money. The universe cannot deliver you the abundance that you're looking for. So the number one basic step is to really step into the deeper acceptance. Yes, I am a human being, and I need access to the tools of money to be able to get the support, get the resources so that I can be more free in doing the work that I really love offering in the world.
And I think this is spot on, especially if you're choosing to be an entrepreneur. I mean, you can take that route, the aesthetic route, where you sacrifice and you give up everything, and but then you're not choosing to be an entrepreneur, and that's a totally valid path on its own. But what you're saying here is that as an entrepreneur, this is the way that is going to support you as the business owner, as the entrepreneur, and your clients, is to be able to step in with that financial abundance and bringing in and calling in and really welcoming it as part of the mechanism where everything works.
Absolutely. And I'm not, well, I have thought a lot about other organizations, like spiritual organizations that do spiritual work where people volunteer. And I really contemplated on this a lot. Well, is that pure serving the world without any financial gain? And I realized that at the end of the day, they also need donations to sustain, right? There is some sort of energetic expectation when you go to a church or a temple, you donate some amount there. And it's not any different than entrepreneurship if you really think about it. In entrepreneurship, the only difference is that there's a very clear, fair agreement laid out upfront. Hey, if you want my service, here is the cost for it. And what that does, it allows you space to be self-sufficient as a business entity. Whereas in churches and temples and other spiritual organizations that do not have a form of payment for services, they get pretty heavy donations actually to be able to sustain their work. So, I mean, money still comes in for sustenance, you know? And what I want to normalize is that there's no shame in charging money. There's absolutely no shame, because I will tell you from my personal experience as well, and seeing so many people out there, money is not an easy topic to talk about. People would rather talk about sex, even that it's such an intimate detail of their life, but people like to avoid conversations around money as much as they can. And that is because there's so much resistance. There's so much, like, money has a lot of this power dynamic baked into it, where if you have more money, are you more powerful? If I have less money, am I less powerful? There's a lot of kind of worthiness tied to money, which makes it really hard and actually a topic of shame, to be honest. And this is why it's so important today to talk about this.
Yeah, it's almost like people or folks are unwilling to talk about how the beliefs that they have are limiting them in their own power. And that's disempowering just to think about it, right? Where you're like, I can't talk about money because I'm not in my full power, or it's uncomfortable because then I have to like really take a hard look at myself and see my beliefs and examine myself as to what is there regarding abundance, what is there regarding money, what is there regarding, this freedom or whatever you want to define as abundance. So first step is acceptance. We get that, Shakti. Now lead us to the second step. What is that second step that we need to do once we accept that this is important for us?
The second step is harmonizing your relationship with money. Harmonizing is so important because we have all learned different different kind of relationship dynamic with money, seeing our parents in childhood, there are passed down stories from our ancestry that we have inherited through our DNA. And, in the evolution of the planet, right? It's like, the level of abundance, financial, material, spiritual abundance has gone down. And now it's like going back up, right? And in that process, there is a lot of lack and scarcity that has been experienced on the planet. And our parents, I'm sure you can relate with it. People who are watching live can relate with it. Our parents have had a very difficult experience with money, difficult relationship with money. All kinds of stories. I will tell you, just, stepping out of my own shame cycle here. Um, my parents were entrepreneurs. We had a family business, and we had our school tuition due every kind of 3 months. So 4 times in a year, they would have to make a payment towards our school tuition for me and my brother. And my parents were always late in making that payment. And they were always worried about paying that next bill. I will tell you, in all honesty, I've lived with them for 23 years of my life, every single day. There's not a single day when I didn't see my parents worried. And I guarantee you that if you talk to like 10 people, out of this 10 people, at least 8 people will tell you a story about, seeing their parents in relationship with money and holding on to some sort of pain around that. And we have all inherited these lack stories. There's like no two ways about it. And it's so important to harmonize the relationship with money, so that a lot of what sits in the subconscious mind as limits are really these, pathways of painful experiences, seeing our parents taken away, in pursuit of that money where they were not available to us. It created so much stress in family systems. It created levels of abandonment for kids growing up. There's a lot there. And that harmonization of those stories is going to help you clear out the beliefs that don't serve you anymore, clear out the limits that are capping your income, and it will help you step into creating a new relationship with money. A new relationship with money. And it's not any different. And, I feel like our community can relate with it. We all had to learn how to reparent ourselves, right? You know what I mean by that, right, Matash? We all had to learn how to be our own father, how to be our own mother, and relieve our parents from those responsibility. And the same way, we are we have to create a new relationship with money, which is harmonized, which is really brought to more bigger, deeper light, where we can feel the confidence in our ability to manifest money.
And so that harmonizing that relationship with money is important. I feel like, you said 8 out of the 10 folks that probably have some sort of story. My guess is for the other two, somewhere down in their generational lineage, there's a story that exists. If not the most immediate generation, at least a couple of generations down, where at some point somebody made the switch and was able to figure it out for themselves. But I think this is really a human story, a human element where everybody is just trying to find and define their own power. And part of it is relating to how you can relate to the world. And oftentimes it is through the exchange of money.
Right.
And so now step number 3, let's say I've gotten through acceptance and I've harmonized my relationship with money. What is my next step to find that abundance?
The next step is to build and organize your business in a way that it brings money to you. as entrepreneurs, we actually have the provision to have no caps on our income, right? I mean, there could be capacities to how many people you can get into your group program or one-on-one, but it's so important. Money loves structure, money loves order. And what we can do is to really be, I don't want to say use the word strategic. I love using the word intentional. Being intentional on how the money can flow in from that one person, which is your buyer, to that end service that you provide. And, you know, it's a journey within a journey within a journey within a journey. And there are many kind of steps people need to take with you in order to get to that that one purchase, that one transaction. So it's like being very clear and intentional on how that person finds you. How do you connect with that person? What do you say to that person, right? And once
Or even
they're,
who is that person, right?
who is that person, right? Are you speaking to the right people? Are you using the right messaging? And from there, once they are within the sphere of your world, right? What steps do you want them to take in order for them to move forward to get to that thing that you want them to buy? So it's so important to organize your business in a way that it creates and honors a journey of a person in building and kind of really assisting building trust, so that people have such an easier time to say yes to it, yes to your work, yes to paying you, because this is another kind of shift taking place in the world where making a sale was really about this prey and predator energy. Oh, I got a sale out of that guy, right? I got a sale out of that guy. I got a sale out of that woman. Yeah, like I'm so smart and I'm like so smooth and I'm so like charismatic. Guess what? That shit doesn't work anymore. And especially as soul-led entrepreneurs, you know, the more we stay away from that, the more we step into really authentic, heart-to-heart, trusted connections, the easier it is for us to stay in the integrity of our dharma, our teachings, and the change that we're wanting to bring on the planet.
Hmm. So I mean, the way I'm processing this right now is like, it's just a really meeting, because the last thing that you said, organizing and being able to have some structure in your business, it's like you have this feminine energy, which is really like step one and step two, or some of that. And then step three is, combining it with that masculine element, which is really, putting that house or that structure or that building that calls in the clients that you're looking for, or calls in like a mechanism or a process where abundance can flow through.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as I was sharing in the beginning, where the world is moving, where all the answers are, where all the magic happens is in the field of oneness, in this field of masculine, feminine coming together, in this field of spirituality, materialism coming together, holding hands and saying, oh, everything is spiritual and everything is material, and there's no divide between the two. And this is really the field of magic. This is really the field of magic where we can all thrive, because us really kind of receiving the abundance, if you think about it spiritually, is really the source energy flowing through us. It's really that soul embodied in ourselves. It's a light, our light flowing in our own body. It's nothing different, and on top of that, we get to really be free to be who we are in the world without having to compromise on our values, our interests, our passions, our trade for time. We can just be ourselves, and that is what money does. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this allows, many of us to step out of the shame and into the space of openness, giving ourselves the permission slip to thrive in all ways possible.
That is powerful. So I will conclude from here. I feel like what you just said here is the mic drop part of it, where where you just, that's all you need to do is find the 3 steps, which is acceptance, harmonizing your beliefs with money, and bringing some organization and structure to your business, so that that financial abundance is easily accessible to you. And so before, one last thing actually that comes to mind. So this quantum leap event that's going on next week, what is that all about? And how does how do the 3 steps apply to that? Or tell us a little bit more about that.
Quantum Leap is starting this Sunday, and we're just a day away actually at this point. And Quantum Leap is taking place every day from noon to 1:30 p.m. Pacific. This is really the work we're going to do in Quantum Leap over the 5 days together. So from Sunday through Thursday, every day we're going to be meeting from noon to 1:30. And we're going to really open a portal to step into a whole new level of abundance. And whichever level you're starting from, please know that there's no shame, and you are welcome to start exactly where you are. And whatever is that next level abundance, we're going to create that together energetically. Everything is energy first and then strategy implementation after, and that we're going to stay true to that format. So we're going to start with an opening ceremony. I'm a multidimensional channel. I'm downloading a whole new um, process to open up your nervous system to be able to hold more capacity for an increased level of wealth. So I will be sharing those practices with you. I'll be taking you deep into meditations, because a lot of the limits exist in the subconscious mind. So meditations and stepping into the state of trance is going to allow us to do that. You're going to really unlock a whole new mindset called abundance mindset to live with. You're going to unlock a whole new identity of you, this new version of you that is the vibrational match for your increased abundance. And then day number 4, you're going to be creating an action plan. You're going to be listing out what changes need to be made on the business end so that money can really flow in your business with ease. And then the last day, we're going to be creating another ceremony for really manifesting that, all the energy we have created together, really manifesting that, sending it to the world and our clients and our community so that more people will step forward. We have all these 5 days of work planned for us, and we have 2 bonus integration calls. It's sometimes we step into really high energy containers, and I want to make sure you are landing just well coming out of it. So there'll be a bonus call integration for integration. There are 2 calls, and then you get to also spend 30 minutes with me where I get to look at the most immediate thing you're working on and giving you laser focused guidance so that you personally have all the answers and you get to move forward in claiming more abundance. So we're starting on Sunday. So we're just a day away. And this is a paid event for $222 for all 10 hours of training, including that one-on-one time with me. And I'm just excited and thrilled to be diving deep and doing the work with like-minded people.
So if you are a soul-led entrepreneur who is wanting to take that quantum leap, and one thing that is unique about this year is that we do have a leap year, and that Thursday, last final day that you'll be there, is the leap year day, or the leap day on the 29th. So it'd be a nice way to celebrate and kind of step into this, once in every 4 years type of event where you take what you've learned. And so for soul-led entrepreneurs, if you're looking to step into your abundance, definitely look at this event coming up on Sunday. And the link is here in the right above the video. You'll see it, spiritualalignment.com/the-quantum-leap. And that's the way you can sign up, or just reach out to Shakti directly and you'd be able to have a conversation with her. So thank you, Shakti, today for sharing this insight and wisdom of 3 steps to step into abundance, financial abundance, especially if you're a soul-led entrepreneur. And we really appreciate and thank you for sharing this with the group. And if you catch this on the recording, thanking you as well. And for now, we will sign off and we'll see you again next event.
Thank you so much, Mitesh. You are absolutely the best. You just make every conversation so alive and easy. So thank you for being you and how you hold space.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone.
All right, bye guys.